Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. So today I'm going to tell you a little lesson I learned in life, and it's about living below your means. You see in the last video I showed you the diamond watches, diamond bracelets, new Cadillac sitting in the garage that I hardly ever drive. Those were dumb ass purchases. I shouldn't have made those purchases, especially since I have a old Expedition. And when I say old, most people when you think of an old car is 2020 and they're thinking it's 2010 or 2011 is what I mean by old. No, I have a 1999 Expedition. I drive that thing every day. I love that truck. It's built like a tank. It's never given me one bit of trouble. And even then, I didn't buy it brand new. Let me tell you the story. It's really actually funny. So I saw the Expedition for sale. The guy wanted, I think, $2,300 for it. The engine was blown. And so I told him I have $800. I'll give you $800 for the truck. He said, no, I can sell it for parts for that much. And I said, well, okay. Well, you just go ahead and sell it for parts to everybody. But as fate would have it, I drove by a couple of weeks later, still sitting there. I walked back in, and I was like, I can give you $800 for it. And he goes, that's fine. That way I don't have to pay for the tow truck fees. So I had it towed, had a new engine put in it. One of my buddies actually helped me drop it in. And the total for the engine, we just had to replace the engine block. The total for the engine block with all parts and everything was like $1,200. So for $2,000, and I've had this truck for, 12, 14 years, a very long time. So for a total of $2,000, I got a truck that's lasted me all this time. That was a smart purchase because I had no bills on it. Even though I didn't have any debt on the Cadillac, that was an unnecessary purchase. So living below your means. Here's a few things that I do. I won't buy shoes over $30. Sometimes I'll, splurge on myself. Like one time I bought it. Now keep in mind, I used to wear Jordans. The Now I wear Saucony and New Balance and stuff like that. But one time I did spend $43 on a pair of shoes. I know. I splurged that day. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But I've had those shoes well over a year now. So, but I used to wear Jordans, $200, $250 a pair. I used to buy the Jordan sets. Matter of fact, I have old pictures of me. If I can dig some out, maybe I'll post a couple of them. Where not only do I have the brand new Jordans. Remember back in the day when I was young, Nike used to make jumpsuits that went with the pattern of the Jordans. I used to get those. So sometimes you could be talking about $400 or $500 for a pair of shoes in one outfit. Um, that was silly. Now, as you can see on video, you know, you'll never see me wearing a very expensive shirt unless I'm going somewhere and I have on a suit. Now, I will say this: my cowboy boots, very pricey, but cowboy boots last a lifetime. So I look at that as a good investment. Nikes, a pair of Jordans might last you a few months. And it's all brand. It's ridiculous. I don't know why people do it. Matter of fact, after I started investing and I learned about having a portfolio and stock certificates and stuff like that. Remember, I was at work, and you know how ladies like to flirt. So one chick told me, she goes, "Oh, I must have 400 pair of Jordans at the house." And I turned around and looked at her, and one of my friends, Tybika, started laughing because she knew what was coming. It's like, that's nice. You got all those Jordans. Show me a stock certificate. Do you have something like that? You have to learn to live below your means. I have friends who will go out and buy brand new cars. Now you got a four, five, sometimes $600, $700 car payment. You got the insurance and upkeep that comes with that brand new car. And every month you're paying out, let's say $700 with everything. As if you don't go Lexus, if you don't go Benz, because I have friends who have those and can barely afford them. So every month you're paying out that $700, right? When you could get you a car that you don't have to make payments on. And that $700 could go to your investment guy. See, I don't make big investments at one time. Ask Charlie. I know Charlie gets tired of me coming in every month, dropping off $100 check here, $500 check there, 1,000 here. But it's building over time because you go out and buy a $60,000, $70,000 car, and you shot yourself in the foot because you're never going to sell that car for $60,000, $70,000, but it looks good sitting in your driveway or when you're driving down the street. And it's really silly. And what struck it to me was when I went and bought my Escalade, right? 90-something thousand dollars. Like I said, paid cash for it. But I was being silly with money. If I had taken that same 90 grand, 90K, and invested in Ford at the time, the dividend checks would have been enough for me to live comfortably because I've become a minimalist. And me and Dr. Fax are going to do a show about that. But that would have been enough for me to live comfortably with just the dividends every month and not have to work. But I missed that opportunity. And so many of us miss opportunities. We're going out getting $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 cars when you can go out and get you a cheap car, a cheap, decent looking car. You know what I'm saying? And you can take that same money that would have went to the car payment and to the insurance and to the upkeep, and you could take it down to somebody like Charlie at Edward Jones and make money off your money. See, that's the thing that rich people understand that we don't. I told you about the Warren Buffett thing when I was watching the Warren Buffett videos. I actually watched a lot of his videos. How many of you know that Warren Buffett still drives, doesn't have a driver, lives in the same house he grew up in, but still drives, I think it's a 1993 Cadillac. His car is even older than mine, but see, that's how people become millionaires. You've heard of the story of the millionaire next door, right? They don't go out and get the overly expensive stuff. They're not purchasing diamond watches like Dan's dumbass did. So try saying that 5 times fast. But they don't do things like that. So be smart with your money. Live below your means. Do you really need that product off Amazon, or do you want that product off Amazon? See, that's the thing. Do you really need that giant screen TV, or do you want that giant screen TV? Do you really need that brand new Mercedes, the 2020 Mercedes, the convertible, or do you want that? Would not a 2010 Ford do the same thing? It's going to get you to point A to point B. We do so many things for looks. See, that's the thing in the black culture. Remember when I was coming up, you had Master P and No Limit Records. You had Cash Money Millionaires, and it was all about diamonds and diamonds in your teeth and the flyest car. And as you get older, though, you learn those things are material. You can't take them with you. And so with this series, with my financial stuff, I want to teach you how to live below your means, live comfortably, but live below your means. I want to get you there to where you're creating generational wealth. You know what generational wealth is? If you look at these people like the Rockefellers, Clintons, Bill Gates, they stack. They make sure each generation starts off at a higher level than they started off of. And how do you think that first generation did that? They did that by investing, living below their means, and being smart with their money. And teaching your kids the same values. See, that's the thing. We have to teach our kids those values. So you can go out there with the protests, and you're going to ruin your life. Or you can be smart and invest and make sure things are better for your kids. That'll start them off on a higher plane than used to, because we grew up dirt poor. I mean, we had literally nothing. Literally. There were times we had to eat cherry tarts for dinner. Sometimes we didn't have electricity. Sometimes we didn't even have running water. And a lot of times we didn't have running water. So we started here. But me and my little sister have the same mentality about money. She's a big Dave Ramsey supporter. And like I said, I'll get Thrifty Sissy on. And she can give you some money-saving advice. She's better at it than I am. But we started here. Now each of us are here. And our kids are going to start here. And their kids will start here. So if you're not a recipient of generational wealth, well, some generation has to start the process to create it. So that's just kind of what, where we are. But live below your means. Think about it. Do you need the new car or do you want the new car? Do you really need that Mercedes? You don't. You don't. Do you really need that new $300 pair of Jordans? You don't need that. You go to Big Five and buy the same pair of shoes, if not better, for a tenth of the price. They use that money to invest. Invest or save, either way. You're not spending excess money. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to put that out there. I want you to start living below your means. Don't live in poverty. Be comfortable, but don't spend unnecessarily. Invest. Invest. Invest and save. So, and think about your kids. You want to leave them something when you go. Also, make sure you have a good life insurance plan, all that good stuff. But learn to live below your means. Thank you for watching this episode of The Dan Dawson Show. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do.